scared
The
of
first
in the next 30
globalization
years?
in the human history was
we
controlled
people are
by
very lucky
few
because
kings
we are in the
and emperors.
area that the world is
Last
in a
30
very
years,
big transformation because
globalization
of the
was controlled
technology.
by 60,000 big companies.
I think
If you're not among
we
the big
read
companies,
a lot on the
if you're not
books
in the
that,
big, powerful
200
countries,
years ago
you don't
when the
have chance.
first
The
industry
next
had a lot
30
of
years,
great
I
people,
bet
and then 100 years ago,
we
electricity
will
revolution
have
came, a
6
lot of
million
success people.
or 16
So now
million
the technology
or
comes.
60 million
This new
companies
technology
get
will
involved in
also create a
globalization.
lot of
And
successful
I'm
people,
sure
interesting careers.
we will make it happen.
But honestly,
Together with a
every
lot of
technological revolution
Scared
come,
of
is
in the
gonna
next 30 years?
create a lot of social problems. Yeah, we people are
And,
very lucky
my
because
view is
we
the
are
first
in the
technology
area
revolution
that the
caused the
world
First
is
World
in a
War.
very big transformation because of the technology.
Caused the Second
I
World
think
War.
now we read a lot on the books that 200
gonna
years
happen?
ago when the first industry had a
People
lot
worry
of
about
great
artificial
people, and then
intelligence.
100 years
People
ago,
worry about robots.
electricity
People
revolution
worry about
came, a lot of
computer
success
and
people.
data
So
and
now the
privacy,
technology
the
comes.
securities.
This new
People start
technology
to worry.
will also create a lot of successful
Whether
people,
you worry, it will
interesting
come.
careers.
You don't worry, it
But
comes.
Honestly,
So the thing is how you
every
change
technological revolution comes.
So
it's going to
I
create a lot
think
of social
next
problems.
30 years,
the world is
and
going to be
my view
huge
is the
change.
first
If
technology
there's a
revolution
third
caused the
world war,
First
I
World
think
War.
the world war
Second
should
technology
be a war
revolution
against the
caused the
disease,
Second World War.
a war
Now we're on the third.
against environment
So
pollution,
what is going to happen?
a war against poverty.
People worry about
together.
artificial intelligence.
not a war
People worry about
against
robots.
ourselves.
People worry about a computer and
But if we
data
do not
and privacy
see
and
clearly
securities,
that
people
the
start
new
to worry.
technology to solve these problems.
But
if we do
whether
not
you worry,
unite,
it will
align
come.
together,
You don't worry,
we-
it comes.
human being gonna
So
fight
the
each
thing
other.
is how you change yourself.
Because every
So
technology revolution
I think
will make
next
the world
30 years,
unbalanced.
the world
When
is going
something
to be
unbalanced
huge
coming,
change.
somebody
If there's a
used to be
third
number
world
one,
war,
suddenly
I think the
become number
world
two,
war
and somebody
should
was
be
number
a
three,
war
and then become
against
number
the
one.
disease.
It's all
A war
comfortable.
against environment pollution.
So we people, if
a war
you're
against
30 years
poverty
old,
together.
my
We should
view
not a
is
war
that if
against
when you're
ourselves.
20 to 30 years old,
But if we do not see clearly
follow a
that
good
using the new
boss,
technology to
join
solve
a
this
good
problem,
company to
if we do
learn
not
how to do
unite,
things
align
properly.
together, human beings
when
gonna
you're
fight each other.
30 to 40 years old,
Because every technology revolution will make
if you
the
want
world
to do something
unbalanced.
yourself,
When something
just do
unbalanced
it.
coming,
You
somebody
still
who
can't
used to be
afford
number
to
one
lose,
suddenly become number two,
to
and
fail.
somebody was number three,
but
and
when
then
you're
become
40
number
to
one.
50
It's
years
all
old, well, comfortable.
so we
suggestion
people, if
is
you're
that
30 years
you
old,
should do
my
things
view is that
you are
if
good at.
when you are 20 to 30 years
Right.
old,
and not do things
should
that
follow a
that's
good
very
boss,
interesting. I want to try
join a
something
good
new.
company to
It's
learn
dangerous
how to do
more.
things properly.
When you're 50 to 60
When you're 30
years
to
old,
40 years
spending
old,
time training and developing young people.
If you want to
the
do
next
something
generation,
yourself,
just
when
do
you're
it.
over
You
60
still can't
years
afford
old,
to lose,
better stay
to
with
fail.
your grandchildren.
But when you're 40 to 50
But
years
this is
old,
normally general. My
like that. Not
suggestion
everybody
is that
like, but most
you
of the people
should
like
do
that.
things
so
that you are
30
good
years
at.
old, we
Right.
people
And not do things that,
Next
oh,
to
that's
30
very
years
interesting, I want to try
are
something
the
new.
luckiest
It's been dangerous more.
Where a lot of challenges.
When you're 50
lot
to
of things
60
that's
years
happening,
old, spending
and
time
with
training
our
and
knowledge,
developing young
with
people,
our
the next generation.
physical power,
When you're over 60
time,
years old,
you need to
better
change. You have
stay
to think.
with your grandchildren.
we all, if you
But
want
this
to
is
be
normally
successful
general
tomorrow, it's impossible.
like that. Not everybody
if you
like
want
that,
to
but
be
most of the people
successful
like that.
A year
So
later,
30 years
it's
old,
impossible.
We
But
people
if you want to win,
next to 30 years
10 years later,
are the luckiest
you
of
have
purists. We have a lot of challenges,
That is
a lot of things are happening, and with
Wonderful.
our
And
knowledge,
moving
with
on
our
to a
physical
topic
power,
which is kind of
it's time
impossible
you need
to
to change.
ignore
You have to
after
think,
2017.
all-
So
if you
a
want to be
third of all the
successful
people
tomorrow,
in
it's
leadership
impossible.
positions
If
in
you want to be
Alibaba are
successful
women.
a year
But
later,
the picture
it's
elsewhere
impossible.
is a bit
But
more
if you
bleak.
want to
and a
win,
friend of mine recently
10
said
years
something
later,
that has
you have
really
chance.
stayed with me.
That is
Women
what.
are tired of
Wonderful.
empowerment
And
programs.
moving
and
on
we want
to
power.
a topic which is
In
kind of impossible
2016,
to ignore after
venture capitalists
2017.
$58.2
So a third of all the
billion
people in
in
leadership
male-founded
positions in
companies,
Alibaba are women.
while women receive
but the
just
picture
1.46
elsewhere
billion.
is a bit more bleak.
And
a friend of mine recently
as
said something
2017
that has
showed,
really stayed with
it
me.
was a year of
Women
sexual
are
harassment
tired
scandals,
of
the
empowerment
gender pay
programs,
gap
and we
still
want
exists.
power.
And unfortunately,
In
the list does
2016,
go on.
venture capitalists
So how do you
invested
think we can move
$58.2
beyond
billion
tokenistic
in
gestures
male-founded
towards
companies,
genuine
genuine
while
gender
women
equality.
receive just 1.46 billion.
Yeah, that is very
And
interesting.
As
A few
2017
years, like
shows,
4
it was a
years
year
ago,
of
there is
sexual
a
harassment scandals,
journalist,
the gender pay gap still exists, and
came to
unfortunately,
our
the list does go
company.
on. So how do you think we can
And
move
when he
beyond
leaves, he asked
tokenistic
me
gestures
question,
towards
why there are so
genuine
many
gender
women in your
equality?
company? Yeah, that is very
And
interesting.
I never realized
a
we have
few
so
years,
many women
like
in our
4
company.
years ago, there is
Anything
a
wrong?
journalist
Today,
came
we have
to our
49%,
company.
close 49%.
And when he leaves, he asked me question, why
employees
there are so
of
many
our
women in your
company
company?
are women.
And I never
That's a
realized
lot
we have so
for a
many
high-tech
women in our
company.
company. I said, anything wrong?
It's not on purpose we hire women.
Today, we have a
they are great in
49%,
helping
close
us to grow.
49% of the
Alibaba
employees
is an
of
e-commerce
our
company.
company are
E-commerce
women.
is a service industry.
That's a lot for
To
a
serve
high-tech
people
company.
better. It's not
You
on
have a-
purpose
you
we
should
hire
have a
women. We
serve-
think they
service
are great
heart
in helping us
We
to grow.
find that
Alibaba
women
is an e-commerce
doing
company.
much
E-commerce
better
is a service
jobs
industry.
than men.
To serve people better.
And the second is that
You
should have a service heart.
People compete
We
because of
find
muscle.
that
Women
this century is
doing
not muscle,
much
it's
better
wisdom
jobs
than men.
And next is,
And the second is
I
that last
believe
century,
if a person wants
people
to be
compete because
successful,
of
you
muscle.
should have a high.
this century is not
EQ.
muscle, it's the wisdom.
But if you don't want
And
to
next
lose
is,
quickly,
I
you should
believe
have a high
if a
IQ.
person wants to be successful, you
But
should
if
have
you want to be
high
respected,
EQ.
you should have high.
But if you don't want to
LQ,
lose
the Q
quickly,
of love.
you should have a high IQ.
So those three
But
Qs
if you want to be respected,
put together,
you should have
lot of
high
men-
LQ, the Q of love.
they have a high IQ below
So those
EQ,
three
and
Qs
a very
put
tiny
together,
LQ.
A lot of men,
Women balance-wise,
they have a high
they're the best.
IQ below EQ, and a very
If
tiny
you
LQ.
want your company to
Women
be successful,
balance-wise, they're the best.
if you want your company,
If
to
you
operate
want your
with
company to
wisdom,
be successful,
with care,
if you want
Women
your
is the
company
best.
to operate
my
with
company,
wisdom,
we
with
noticed
care,
that women they
women
care
is the best.
others.
My company,
much
we
more
noticed that
than men.
women they care
Even our
others
site today on
much more
shopping
than
site,
men.
e-commerce, we found a women
Even
buy
our
a lot
site
of things.
today on shopping
But they
site,
buy
e-commerce,
for
we
their
found a women
husband,
buy a
their
lot of
parents,
things.
their kids.
But they buy
Men
for
only
their
buy for
husband, their
themselves mostly.
parents, their kids. Men only buy for themselves
Because you
mostly.
care. That make you
Because you care, that makes you
So-
the difference. So
we have a 49% of
we have
the,
a 49% of
the colleagues in the company,
colleagues
are
in
women,
the company
and
are women,
close
and
37%
close
of the
37% of the senior management are women.
We never feel anything wrong,
and women
they sacrifice more. When they love it, they believe it,
they continue to do it.
to do it.
So I think one of the secret sauce for Alibaba to be successful was success in the past 18 years because we have so many women colleagues.
Because we have so many women.
And the other
colleagues.
thing is that we feel so proud.
And the other thing
And,
is that
you
we
know,
feel so proud.
most of the time you
And,
see I go out, I never
most
realized
of the
that
time
when we
you
come
see I
to
go
always
out,
50%
I never
are women.
realized that when we
With
come
my
to
delegation,
always
my team.
50% are women.
Because
my
we never think
delegation,
they're
my
women.
team.
We think they're great colleagues.
Because we never think
So
they're women. We
if
think
you
they're
try to say,
great
now we got too
colleagues.
many men, so we have to put some
So
women inside.
If you try to
that's a
say,
disaster
now
for
we got
both
too
sides.
many men, so we have to put some women
So
inside.
what would your advice be to
that's a
companies
disaster
that
for both
operate a
sides.
little bit more on that quota-based system,
So
but
what
seem
would
to
your advice be
not
to
making progress
companies
or
that
not
operate a
having
little
such
bit
kind of
more
representation
on that
When you have a
quota-based
quota
system, but
base
seem
to have, you
be
must have a lot of
not
women.
making
You will never
progress
reach
or
that.
not having such kind of representation?
I think
When you have a quota
if
base to
company
have, you
full of
must have a
men
lot of women. You
prostituting,
will never reach that.
This company cannot be sustainable, cannot
I
keep on
think,
growing. Because just
if
like
a company
stew,
full of men
if you don't put what
prostituting,
inside,
this company
this stew is
cannot be
too tough. It's easy
sustainable,
to
cannot
break.
keep on growing. Because just like
So when you have a
stew,
woman and a man
if you don't
in the
put
same
what
company,
inside,
when something happens,
the stew
the
is too
women
tough. It's
are the,
easy to break.
For example, one of the value for our company
So
is
when
that
you have a woman
the number
and a
one
man
value is customer
in
number
the same
one,
company,
employee number two,
when
shareholder
something
number three.
happen, the women
This is everywhere I
are the-
go.
for
Wall
example,
Street did
one
not
of
like
the
my
value
point,
for
but
our
this is what I
company
said.
is that
The number
if you-
one
if you-
value
if
is
you
customer
like us,
number one.
investing us,
If
employee
you don't
number
like
two,
us, please
shareholder
sell our
number
stocks.
three.
Don't buy us. We
This
believe
is everywhere I
customer
go.
number one,
Wall
employee
Street
number
did
two,
not like
shareholder
my
number
point,
three.
but this is what I
But
said.
when men start, when
If
we
you-
start
if
to
you-
compete,
if you like
men
us,
suddenly get
investing
very
us,
angry,
if
and
you
know
don't
they
like
start,
us, please
and
sell
women
our
always
stocks,
come and
don't
say,
buy
"La, la,
us."
la, la."
We believe
no
customer
competition.
number
Let's
one,
think
employee
about
number
customer
two,
number
shareholder
one.
number three.
Most
But
of the women,
when men start,
they
when we
believe in
start to
the
compete,
first date
men
dream or
suddenly
first
get
date
very
love.
angry, and you know,
Most
they
of the
start-
men easy
and
to
women
forget.
always come as
I'm sorry, it's not
no
I
competition.
say bad
Let's
about men.
think about
This is statistic.
system.
This is statistic.
Most
this is
of the
why
women,
our company works
they
the
believe
balance.
in the first date
And
dream
it's
or first
naturally
date love.
happening.
Most
It's
of the
not
men,
like we
easy to forget.
So, I'm sorry, it's not.
I say
A
bad
lot of
about
people
men.
have a
This
tendency
is
to
statistic.
man is better. This is statistic. This is
In doing
why
things.
our company works the balance.
But we
And
don't.
it's-
We
it's
think that
naturally
even if
happening.
men is better, we
It's
still
not
have
like
to hide
we-
the woman inside.
So, and then the women have enough women. Women will hire people more.
A lot of
so
people
this
have
is
a
how we did
tendency,
it. So
man is better.
I don't know how many high-tech companies
doing
in the
things.
world like us. 49%
But
colleagues are women. We feel
think
proud
that
of that.
even if men is better,
As you
we
should
still
be, and
have
I
to
think it's
hide
a
the
very
woman
strong
inside.
message to
And
send
then the
out
women
to,
have enough
like I say,
women-
other
women will
companies that
hire
have
people
a range
more.
of reasons
So
for why
this
that's,
is how
why that's
we
not
did.
the case.
So,
Clearly you've been able to build
I don't know
the
how
most
many
successful one
high-tech
with that
companies in
being-
the
with that
world
being
like
so.
us. 49%
So you just came off stage after giving a
colleagues
talk
are
about
women.
digital
We feel proud
e-commerce
for that.
and what needs to happen
As
for
you
small
should be, and I
businesses and
think it's a very
entrepreneurs
strong
to
message
benefit from
to send out
globalization.
to, like
At
I
a
say,
time
other
when
companies that
globalization
have
once again
a range
is being
of reasons
questioned, is it
why
really
that's
delivering
not
for the
the
most
case.
vulnerable? Is
Clearly
it
you've
delivering
been
for
able to
people
build
in the global
the most
south,
successful one
etc.?
with
So what
that
is your
being- with that
message to
being so.
people in this
So you
room
just came
kind of
off
about
stage after giving a
globalization,
talk
really?
about
I think
digital e-commerce
and what
globalization
needs to happen
cannot be stopped.
for small businesses and entrepreneurs
Nobody can stop
to
globalization.
benefit from globalization.
Nobody can stop trade.
At a time when
And I believe
globalization once
if
again
trade
is being
stops,
questioned,
war
is it really
starts.
delivering for the most vulnerable? Is it delivering
Trade
to people
is the
in
way
the
to
global
solve the-
south,
to
etc.?
dissolve
So
the
what is
war,
your
not
message to
cause the
people
wars.
in this room kind of about globalization?
I think globalization did a
I think
fantastic job in the past
globalization
30 years.
cannot be stopped.
Enrich a lot of countries. Nobody can stop globalization.
But
of course,
nobody can
caused a
stop
lot
trade.
of problems.
And I believe
young people
if
do not have
trade
opportunities.
stops, war
Small
starts.
business have not opportunities. Developing
is
countries
the way
were
to
neglected.
solve the to
But
dissolve
it's
the war,
only 30 years.
not to cause
It's
the
a
wars.
baby. It's a
I
growth. You
think
have to improve
globalization
it.
did a fantastic
If you
job
do not
in the
improve
past
it,
30 years.
Then you kill it. It's easy.
Enrich a
Most
lot
of the time,
countries.
to kill something is much easier.
But,
so
of course,
my
cost
belief
a lot
it's
of
our
problems.
generation's job.
Right.
Today,
Young people
we have
do
a
not have
better
opportunities.
technology.
Small
We have a
business
better
have not
knowledge about
opportunities.
globalization.
Developing
And
countries
it's our
were neglected.
generation's
But it's
responsibility
only 30 years.
or
It's a
opportunity to improve it. It's a growth.
You
Tell
have
me,
to
how can you
improve it.
stop globalization?
If you do not improve it,
Now, artificial
then
intelligence
it's
comes.
easy.
Robots
Most of
come.
the time, to
My
kill
grandfather
something is much
worked
easy.
16
So
hours
my
a day.
beliefs, it's
And
our
he said
generation's
he was
job.
very busy.
Today, we have a better
We
technology.
work 8 hours a day.
We
He
have
said
a better
we are very
knowledge
busy.
about globalization.
Our
And
children
it's our
they
generation's
only work 3 hours or 4 hours a day
responsibility
for 3 days a
or
week. I bet
opportunity
they will say, oh,
to
we're very busy.
improve it. Tell me,
Then
how
when
can
you work
stop
only 3
globalization?
hours a day and 4 days a week,
Now, artificial
what are you gonna do?
intelligence come.
you're going to travel
Robots
around.
come.
My
My grandfather worked
for
16 hours
You would travel.
a day. And
30
he
years
said
ago,
he was very busy.
we
Normal
work
life,
8
you
hours
visit
a day.
We said we are
20
very
to 30
busy.
cities whole your life.
Our 30 years
Children,
later,
in your
they
life,
only
you
work
visit 300 cities
hours
in your
or
life.
4 hours a day
Because of mobile.
for 3 days a week.
How can you stop
I
it?
bet they
It's
will say,
impossible.
oh, we're very busy.
So thinking about that,
Then when
the
you
only
work
thing
only
is
3
to
hours
improve it,
a day
to make
and
it
4
simple.
days a week,
Global trade
what are
should
you
be
gonna do?
simple, should be
you're going to
modernized,
travel around.
should giving inclusive.
Right? You cannot stay
Everybody
in the
have the
home for
opportunity.
a week.
So my
You
strong
would
message
travel.
is that, well, I feel sorry for
30 years
WTO.
ago-
They did a great job, but in the past 20 years, when you put
Normal
the
life,
200
you visit
government ministers in a one room,
20 to
how
30
can they
cities
agree on
all your
something?
life. 30
Right?
years later,
Because I don't
in
like
your
your
life,
country.
you
No
will
matter
visit
how good
300
suggestion you
cities
have,
in your
I say
life.
no. Because of mobile. Business people, even
How
if
can
we
you
put
stop it?
200 business
It's
people in a
impossible.
one room, we will surely agree on
thinking about that, the only thing is to improve
And
it.
this is
to
what
make
I
it
believe.
simple.
The next
Global
generation
trade
of
should be
globalization
simple, should be modernized.
inclusive. Should create
give
opportunities
inclusive.
for young people to get
Everybody have
involved.
the opportunity. So my
the first
strong message is
globalization
that, well, I
in
feel
the
sorry
human
for
history
WTO.
was
They did a
controlled
great job, but in the
by
past 20 years,
few
when you
kings
put the
and
200
emperors.
government ministers in
The
the
last
one room,
30 years,
how can they agree on
globalization
something?
was controlled by 60,000
Right?
big companies.
Because I don't like your country.
If you're
no
not
matter how
among the
good
big companies,
suggestion you have,
if you're
I
not
say
in
no.
the big, powerful countries, you
But
don't have a
business
chance.
people,
The
even
next
if we
30
put
years,
200 business
I
people
bet
in the one room, we will surely agree on
we
something.
will have 6 million or
And this
16
is
million
what I
or
believe.
16 million
The
companies
next generation
get involved
of
in globalization.
should be inclusive.
And I'm sure
should create
we
opportunities
will make it
for
happen.
young people to get involved.
together with a lot
The
of people,
first
maybe with you,
globalization
with a mobile phone,
in a human
if people
history
still using
was
mobile phone 30 years
controlled
later.
By
With a mobile phone,
few
you can global
kings
buy. You want to buy
emperors.
something from Kenya?
Na-
You
last
just
30
click.
years,
You want to buy
globalization
something from
was
Norway? You
controlled
click.
by
Global buy,
60,000
global
big
sell.
companies.
If you're a small thing,
If you're
without
not
internet,
among
you
the
can
big
only
companies,
sell in your village
if
or
you're
small
not in the
town. Today
big
you can sell
powerful
across the world.
countries, you don't have a chance.
And global
the next
pay,
30 years,
global
I
delivery,
bet
and global travel, the only thing
we
you have to bring is a
will be-
mobile phone.
we will
No,
have
not even
6
passport.
million or
This is going to
16
happen
million
in 10
or
years.
16 million companies.
And this is the message.
Get involved
Let's
with
catch this
globalization.
opportunity.
and
If
I'm
you
sure
complain, the other people catch
we will
it.
make it happen.
If you catch the opportunity, embrace
Together
it now,
with a lot of people, maybe
you
with you.
will be the next
With the mobile
Alibaba.
phone, if people still using mobile phones,
People
30
like
years
me,
later,
I was born in a
with a
very
mobile
poor
phone,
family.
you can
I never
global
got
buy.
a great education.
You want to buy something
I
from
failed
Kenya?
all the examinations. For
You
what
just
reason? I don't
click.
know.
You want to
But
buy something from
later,
Norway?
I realized
you
I don't have
click.
money,
Global
I don't
buy,
have technology,
global sell.
I don't have a lot
If
of
you're
good
small
backgrounds.
thing,
We have a rich
without
uncle or
internet,
something.
you
No.
can only sell in your village.
The only
or
thing I
small
competed
town.
with
Today
my
you can
people,
sell
the
across
young
world.
people, is let's compete for 10
And
years
global
later.
pay
This is what I believe
global
10 years
delivery,
later will be happening.
and
So
global
everything
travel,
I do for that goal,
the only thing
I
you
know
have to bring is a
10
mobile
years
phone.
later,
No, not
this
even
thing
a
is going to
passport.
happen. So prepare
This
for that.
is going to happen.
Because I know
in
if
10
I
years.
compete with him for next month,
And
no
this
chance.
is the message.
So
Let's
this is how
catch this
my
opportunity.
message. It's a
If
challenge,
you complain,
but
the
it's
other
opportunity.
people catch it.
and it's the
If
opportunity
you
for people like
catch the
us.
opportunity, embrace it
This
now,
world, the most
you
difficult
will
thing
be the
is to
next
convincing
Alibaba.
a successful people.
People like me,
We tell
I
him,
was born
this
in a
is a
very
great
poor
opportunity. He
family.
said, no.
I never got a
Forget
great
it.
education.
Right? I've been doing this for 30 years.
I failed all
But
the
for people like
examinations.
us,
For what reason? I don't know. But
We're looking for opportunities
later,
in
I
order to
realized I
survive.
don't have money. I don't have
So we
technology.
will do anything to be
I don't
creative.
have a lot of good
So
background.
this is the message.
A rich uncle or something.
30
no.
years, it's opportunity
The only
for
thing I
us.
competed
It's a
with my
challenge
people,
for those
the
people
young
who
people,
are
is
60
let's
years old.
compete for 10 years later.
If they're 60
This
years
is what
old,
I believe 10 years later will be happening. So everything I do for that,
not
goal,
discrimination,
I know
but it's
10 years later,
it is tough for them.
This
And
thing
maybe
is going
says
to
something
happen.
about
So
how we
prepare
need to
for
look
that.
at government as well.
Because
in
I know
terms
if
of
I
more young
compete
people
with
entering
him for
and
next
doing
month,
policy
no
making.
chance.
So if there are
So
these
this
6
is how
or 16
my
or
message
60 million
is
businesses
it's
and
a
we're all
challenge,
kind of hyper-connected,
it's an
on a more
opportunity.
fundamental level, do you think consumption
And
is
it's
making
the
us happy?
opportunity for people like
Consumption?
us.
What do you mean consumption
This
by
world,
making us
the
happy?
most difficult
Oh.
thing
Through
is to
consuming,
convincing
are we becoming
a successful
happier
people.
through being more connected? Is that genuinely
Yeah,
driving
of course,
This is a
consumption
great
will make
opportunity.
it.
No,
Without
no,
consumption,
no.
definitely we're not
Forget
happy.
it, right?
But
I've
if
been
their
doing this for
consumption
30 years.
may not be. The
But
thing
for people
is
like
that
us, for me, people like me,
we're
people
looking
say,
for
Jack, you are
opportunities
very rich,
in
but
order
I
to
don't have time
survive.
to spend money.
So we will do anything
And
to
I
be
know
creative.
this money does not
So this
belong
is
to
the
me.
message.
When I have a 1 million, 2
30
million,
years,
it's my money.
It's opportunity for
But when you
us.
have
It's a
20
challenge
million,
for those people
problem
who are
comes,
60
you think
years
the
old.
U.S. dollar is going to devalue or
If they're
pound,
60
and the
years old-
stock market is going to problem. When you're over $1 billion,
Not
that is
discrimination, but it's
responsibility because the
It
society
is tough
trusts
for them.
you.
And maybe
can
says something
manage
about
the
how
money
we need
better.
to look
If
at
you think
government
that is
as
your
well
money,
in terms
you'll
of
get into
more
trouble.
young people entering and doing
This is what I
policymaking.
always believe.
So
That's
if
the-
there are these 6
How can a
or
person have
16 or 60
20
million
or
businesses and
$2
we're
billion
all kind of hyper-connected,
No matter
on
how
a more
hard we-
fundamental
how
level, do you think
hard you
consumption
work,
is making us happy?
You should not get
Consumption?
2 billion or 20 billion.
What do you mean
The money
consumption
people
by
put on
making us
you
happy?
is the trust and credit
but
you have.
through-
so you should
through
spend the money
consuming,
better
are
than
we
government.
becoming
You should
happier
spend money
through being
better
more
than the other
connected?
people.
Is that genuinely
spend money on the right
Of course,
places.
consumption will make
So,
without consumption,
consumption's-
definitely we're not happy.
Yes.
Right?
And
But
I
if
can
there's
service
consumption,
industry. Let me tell
may
you
not-
one thing.
The thing
The
is
AI
that
robots is going
for
to create a
me,
lot of
people
jobs.
like me,
Because in the future,
people say, Jack, you are very
machine.
rich, but I don't have time to spend money.
but there will be, we
and I
have to
know
create
this money
modern
does not
service
belong
industry.
to me. When I have
Service
1
industry
million, 2
is
million,
gonna-
it's my
service
money.
is got a lot about
But when you have
consumption.
20
So
million,
doing the
problem
consumptions,
comes, you think the
service
US dollar
industry
is
has
devaluing
huge
or
hope.
English
But you have
pound
to do
and
it
the
uniquely.
Stock market is going to problem. When you're over $1 billion,
I think from that
That
slightly
is the
philosophical point, we
responsibility,
can turn
because
to
the
the floor for
society
questions.
trusts
So
you.
if you
manage the money better.
if you could please
think that it's
introduce
your
yourself,
money,
say
you'll
where
get
you're
into trouble.
from, please keep your questions succinct
is
so
what
we
I
can
always
take
believe.
as many as
That's
possible
the-
and relevant
How
for the
can
whole
a person
group.
have a
Great.
you know,
So
20 or
would you like to
$2
go
billion?
first?
No matter how hard are we, how,
Hi, my name is Parv.
how
I'm a
do you
global
work?
shaper from Chicago.
You
And you
should
just
not
talked about
get
philanthropy, and I'm
to
curious if you could
get
talk about
The
how you
money
see your
people
role
put
is
on you
changing
the
in
trust and
the
credit
giving
you
space,
have.
particularly
So
given
you
the
should
fractured
spend
world
money
we live
better
in.
than government. You should spend money better than the other
Yeah,
people.
I think philanthropy,
spend money on the right places.
it's
So,
not about helping
consumptions-
others. It's about
Yes.
helping yourself.
And I can service industry. Let me tell you one.
I had a huge debate
the
with my
AI
colleagues
robots is going to kill a lot
several
of jobs.
years ago. There was a big
Because
earthquake
in the future,
China, and there was a big
machine-
earthquake in Japan.
But there will be.
So
I have to create
we
modern
donated
service
like a,
industry.
I forgot the exact, like a $20,000 to Japan, $10-15 to China.
And
Doing
people
the
say, why we donate that little? consumptions,
Because we are,
service
you know,
industry
we have a lot of
has
money.
huge hope. But you have to
And
do
my
it
point
uniquely.
is, no matter how much money you donate, 2 million, 20 million,
I think from that,
That money
slightly
compared to that,
philosophical point, we
is tiny.
can
You
turn
cannot
to the
change
floor for
a lot of things
questions.
there.
So
the
if
thing
you
you donate because you
Right.
change yourself. When
if you could
change,
please
the world is
introduce
changing.
yourself, say where you're from.
You have to change yourself.
Please keep your questions
Right.
succinct
And the
so
next
we can
thing
take
is
as
that
many as possible
philanthropy is about
and
action.
relevant for the whole
It's about
group.
involvement. It's not about
Great.
giving money.
So would you like to go first?
It's about to wake up people's consciousness. So
Hi, my name is
I
Parv. I'm
think-
a global shaper from Chicago. And you just talked about philanthropy,
To
and I'm
me,
curious if you
I
could talk
grow up,
about
and
how
my
you see your role is
globalization
changing
is grow up
in the
this
giving
place.
space, particularly
2000
given the
year
fractured
2001,
world
when
we
I
live
was
in.
nominated as a young global leader, I had no idea what is
Yeah,
Davos,
I
where
think
is
philanthropy,
is it,
uh,
and what
the-
what is about
It's not
young global
about
leader. But I
helping
came here, I
others.
learned, I
It's about
listened
helping
about
yourself.
these corporate global citizenship.
I had a huge
globalization,
debate
all
with my
things.
colleagues.
I grew up.
Several years ago,
I
there's a
understand.
big
This is
earthquake
to
in
me is
China.
like a philanthropy. And there was big
And this has changed
earthquake
to me.
That's I
in
told
Japan.
Schwab.
So
That every
we-
time I come
we
to Davos,
donated
I
like
want to spend time with young people.
I forgot their exact like
Because
$20,000
I
to Japan,
benefit from global,
$10,
young global
$15
leaders
to
early days.
China.
When I listened
And
to
people
Bill
say, why
Gates,
we don't
Bill
know that little?
Clinton,
Because we are,
George Soros, these
we have
guys.
a lot of money.
At that time, we don't have that many people.
And my
Very poor
point is,
facilities. Well, very
no
cold.
matter
I work
how
like
much money
you know,
you
30 minutes
2 million,
driving
20
in a
million.
bus coming here.
that money
and
compared
watching
to that,
That-
it's tiny.
Now,
You cannot
I think
change
still have,
a lot of things
but this
there.
is good.
The
you know,
thing
this is
you
this is
donate
this is
because
the
you change
this is the
yourself. When you
the tuition
change,
we
the
pay
world is
for a
changing.
grown up. And now
You have to change yourself.
to me, I think
Right.
spending time
And the
with
next
you
thing is that
benefit me,
philanthropy
and also I
is
want to
about
tell you
action.
my true experience. It's a
It's about
philanthropy.
involvement.
It's not
It's not
about
about
giving
giving
money. So
It's about to wake
By-
up people's consciousness.
charity, you cannot change
So,
the world.
I
But if you
think-
have a philanthropy heart, you can do a lot of things.
To me,
So
I
I
grow
find
up
this one
and my
unfortunately. A lot of people have a
globalization
business
is
heart
grow up
in this
here,
place, making money.
Year
But do
2001,
things
when
like
I
a
was nominated as a
philanthropy.
young global leader, I had
What
no
we should do is
idea
should
what
be
is
a philanthropy
Davos,
heart,
where is the,
but have a
is
business
it,
skill.
and what is about
I hate a lot
young
of people
global leader.
do the opposite.
But I came here, I learned,
they want
I
to make
listened
money, but they
about
talk like
these
a philanthropy.
corporate
And they do like a
global
philanthropy, waste a lot of money.
citizenship and globalization. all
So
things. This is
I
what I
grow up,
mean.
and it's
I understand.
if you
this is
want
to me
your
it's like a
team
philanthropy.
to continue to work
And
with
this has
you
changed
all
to
your
me.
life. That's I
You
told
have
to
Schwab
plant the seed
that
of
care
every time I come to Davos,
world. I want to
care
spend
others.
time with young people.
The first day they join,
Because
I don't like a lot of
I
companies
benefit
make a lot of
from
money,
global-
make
young global
pollution,
leader, early days.
when I listen to
products,
Bill
at
Gates,
end of the year
Bill
donate some money.
Clinton and George
This is
Soros,
no
these
good.
guys of
Business,
At that time, we
the
don't have that many
philanthropy idea
people.
should
Very poor
should be buried
facilities.
into the
Well,
business.
very cold. I work like 13 minutes driving in the bus coming here.
Philanthropy
and
apart, I
bunch,
think
yeah.
the message that young
That-
people can take
Now,
forward.
I think still have, but this is good. This
Hi,
is
my name is Iman.
this is the
I'm a
this
global
is the-
shaper from the Jeddah
the
hub in Saudi
tuition we
Arabia.
pay for
My
a
question
grown-up.
is, as a
And
young
now,
boy, did you envision
to me,
that your life
I
would be
think
like this? Did
spending
you have
time with
intuition
you
about this?
benefit me,
And if
and also I
so,
want
do you
to
think
tell
the
you my true
belief
experience. It's a philanthropy.
helped in
Does
achieving
not
such great
necessarily mean money.
success?
So, as a young boy, charity you cannot. I never
change
thought.
the world.
As a young boy,
But if
even
you have a
today, I never
philanthropy
thought I would
heart,
be here.
You
Honestly,
can do a lot of things.
So I
find
never
this
thought.
so unfortunately.
A lot
But
of people
as a
have
young
business
boy, I
part
probably, when I
here,
look back,
making money.
every
But
problems
do
I
things
met
like
in
a
life when I was a
philanthropy.
kid benefited me.
What we should do is should
I
be
failed
philanthropy
so many
hard.
times, but have a business skill.
People probably know that I'm applying
I
jobs
hate
for
a lot
so
of
many
people
jobs.
do the opposite.
Over 30 jobs, all
They
rejected.
want to make
Not
money,
even
but
got
they
a
talk like a
chance.
philanthropy.
And
they do
24
like a
of us were
philanthropy, waste a lot of
interviewed for
money.
a KFC job.
So
23
this is what
accepted.
I
I was the only
mean.
guy
And it's,
rejected. 6 people
if
went for
you
looking for a
want
police
your
job.
team
5 accepted.
to
I was the only one.
continue to work
My
with
cousin and I
you all your
applied
life,
job as
you have to
a server
plant
in a
the
4-star
seed
hotel in my city.
of
We
care.
waited a long queue for 2 hours.
world.
He was accepted.
Care
I was
others.
rejected. So my mother looked at me.
First thing, I
'cause-
don't like a lot of companies make a lot of
But
money because
I know
making
this is a
pollutions,
training course for me.
counterfeit products.
Before
By end
my
of the
30
year,
years
donate
old,
some money.
I'm a failure.
This is no good.
People lose, but I never
Business,
give up.
The philanthropy idea
I think there is an opportunity there.
should be buried into the business
And then
model. That's
I was a teacher later. I graduated from university. I was teaching in the university for 6 years.
Philanthropy apart, I think the message that young people
Number
can take forward. Please.
5, because number 5 year, I was elected the best teacher
Hi,
of my
name is
university,
Iman.
elected by
I'm a
students.
global shaper from the Jeddah
So,
hub in Saudi Arabia.
I said everything
My
I
question
taught
is,
my
as a
students are
young
the
boy,
things I learned
did
from
you
books.
envision that
What
your life
if I
would be
go
like
out,
this? Did
spend
you
a
have
10 years,
intuition about this?
experience all the
And
things,
if so, do
whether
you think the
fail or
belief
succeed, I go back to teach again.
helped in achieving
That
such
was
great
my
success?
original thinking doing Alibaba. So I never thought I would
young
be rich.
boy,
I never thought I would be successful.
I never thought,
as
as
a
a young boy, even
for
if
18
today,
years.
I never thought I would be here.
And then,
made
honestly,
it.
the only thing that today we
I
should do
never
is
thought.
share the experience and know-how,
But as a
especially
young boy,
share the
I
mistakes.
when I
suffers
look
with
back,
others.
every
My
problems
thinking
I
is
met
that
in life when I was
You guys
a kid,
remember,
benefited
if you
me.
want to be successful,
I
learn
failed
from
so
the
many
other
times.
people's mistakes. Don't learn
People
from
probably
the
know that
successful
I'm
stories.
applying jobs for
Successful
so
stories
many jobs.
they make, over 30 jobs,
all rejected.
don't
Not
listen to
even
that.
got a chance.
There are a lot of reasons behind it.
24 of us were interviewed
like,
for a KFC job.
I remember the first time
I was
Harvard
the only
Business
guy
School came
rejected.
to us. Say, Jack,
6 people went
we
for
wanna write
looking
a
for a police
case study
job.
for you.
5 accepted.
That's
I
year
was the only
2001 or
My
2000.
cousin and I applied
came to
job
spend
as a,
1
as,
week
as
and they
a,
write a report
as a
and
server in
I
a
read- No,
4-star
I said,
hotel
this
in
is
my
not
city.
me.
We waited
And they said, this is you.
For 2
I said, no,
hours.
this is
He
not
was
us.
Accepted.
He said, this
I
is
was
you.
rejected.
So they
my
make
mother
out this
looked at me,
sign. And the case study go up
You know,
and they started
'cause
teaching in a lot of universities. The next 5 years, they
I
invited
know
me to go
this
to the
is a
case study.
training course for
And they always find a competitor
Before
of my
my
company.
30 years
And
old,
after
I'm a
every
failure.
case study,
People lose, but I
Alibaba
never
will
give
die,
up.
that company will succeed.
I think there is an
All the
opportunity
students
there.
agree. And actually,
And then
every 5 years, all the competitors die. We still survive.
I was a teacher.
So how can you
I
study
graduated
this
from
kind of a
university. I was
successful
teaching in the
story?
university for 6 years.
Learn from the mistakes, the other people.
Number
No matter how smart you
five-
are, because you
number
will
5 year, I was
encounter
elected
these
the best
mistakes.
teacher of
You
my
learn from
university,
mistakes
elected
not
by
because you will be
students.
able to avoid mistakes.
So,
you were
I said
able to
everything
when
I
these
taught
mistakes come,
my
these suffer
students
come,
are the
you know how
things
to
I
deal
learned
with
from
them.
books. What if I
How
go
to
out
face
and
it.
spend 10 years, I experience
the
all
book
things,
I want to write,
whether fail
if
or
I-
succeed, I go back
if
to
I
teach
want.
again.
If I
That
can.
was my
Is
original thinking
Alibaba
doing Alibaba.
1001 mistakes.
So I never
This
thought
is
I
the
could
most
be rich.
treasurable thing.
I never thought it would be
in my life.
successful.
In
I
my
never
life, it's
thought
not how much we
we
achieve.
could survive for 18
It's
years.
how much we gone through the tough days. and then
mistakes.
we made it.
And this is
The only thing that
what
today we
you-
should do is
if you
share
start to
the
think now,
experience and
it'll be
know-how,
good.
especially
So, if you
share
ask
the
me when I was a boy, I
mistakes
never thought about that.
suffers with others.
Never.
My,
I
Let's
was
go
lucky
to
to
the back of the room.
you guys remember, if you want to be successful, learn from the other people's
Fan
mistakes.
Lin, YGL
Don't
from
learn
Shanghai.
from the successful
I know
stories.
that you recently
Successful
spent
stories
100 billion RMB in deep tech
Don't listen to
research.
that.
I just wonder how you
There are a
think
lot
of
of
the
reasons
future of deep
behind it.
tech and how that's going to influence humanity
like,
and creativity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I remember the first time Harvard Business School
I
came
think
to us.
technology,
Say,
as a
Jack,
company, we
we
invest
want to write a
100
case study
billion RMB,
Yes,
which
years
is like 150
2001 or 2000.
right? Or 15
They came, they spent 1 week,
yes.
and they write a report and
billion.
I read. No,
15
I said,
billion
this is not me.
US dollars on
And
research
this is
for the
you.
high
I
tech.
said, no, this is not us. He said, this is you.
As a company,
so they make
I
up
hope
his
in the
sign,
future we gain our
and
profit
the
because
case
of our
study go
technology.
up, and they start to teach in a lot
Not
of
because of our
universities.
size.
The next 5 years, they invite
So
me to
we
go
have
to
to
the
invest in
case
technology.
study.
But I don't
and
like
they
this
always
kind of there's
find
a
a
debate.
competitor of my company.
Artificial intelligence,
And
big data
after every case
is
study,
going to
case
threaten
study,
human beings.
Alibaba will die,
I
that company
think
will succeed.
artificial intelligence
All the students
should
agree.
support human
And
beings.
Actually,
The
every 5
technology
years,
should
all the
always
competitors
doing
die,
something
we
to
still
enable
survive.
people.
So how can you study
Instead
this
of
kind
today,
of a
disable
successful
people.
story? Learn
When
from
steam
the
machine
mistakes,
comes,
the other people. No matter how
when
smart
cars
you
comes,
are,
people
you
hate it.
will encounter.
Today we think
these
cars are
mistakes.
good.
You
When
learn from
the
mistakes, not
the
because you will
automobile
be
when
able to
first
avoid
was designed,
mistakes.
people hate,
You
especially
were
this car,
able
this
to
horseman.
When these mistakes
Right, they
come,
destroy
they
every
suffer
cars
cost.
they can see.
You know how to deal with it.
So I would say,
How to
people
face
like
it.
us, when we have the money, we have the
the
resources, we have the
book
young,
I want
all
to
the
write,
excellent young people.
we
should spend money on the technology
If I can,
that enable people,
is Alibaba
empower
1,001
people,
mistakes.
make life better.
This is the most treasurable.
So this is what we
things
want to invest
in my life.
And I think
In my
artificial
life, it's not
intelligence,
how much we
no
achieve.
matter
It's
how
how
artificial
much
intelligence
we
is good,
go through
human
our
beings
days
in the future
and mistakes.
compete with the machine
And this
on
is
knowledge. You don't have chance.
What is if you start
Computer
to think now
is
it'll be
always
good.
going to be
So,
smarter than you are.
If you ask me when I was a boy,
When
I
there's a
felt
car, forget about it, who run
Never.
faster. When
Let's
there's a
go to
plane,
the
don't
back
think
of
you
the
can
room.
fly like a. When there's a computer, you know, computer is always smarter than you are. They never forget. They remember everything. They never
Fan
get
Lin,
angry. They
YGL
calculate
from
faster.
Shanghai.
But
I know
computer
that
can never be
you
as
recently
wise as a man.
spent 100
What's the
million,
difference
100
between
billion
smart and
RMB
wisdom?
in deep tech research. I just
My
wonder
view is,
how you
smart
think of the
people
future of
see
deep tech and
something
how that's
the other
going
people
to
don't
influence
see.
humanity and
A
creativity.
wise people
Thank you.
see something, he pretend he did not see it.
I think technology, as a
Our smart
company,
people,
we
know
invest
what we
100
want. Wise
billion
people know
RMB,
what
which is
he
like
doesn't
150, right?
A wisdom.
15
person with wisdom knows, I don't.
15
Only
billion.
you know, I don't want
15
this.
billion US dollars.
Then you know
on
what
research
you want.
for the high tech.
So I think this is the money we
As
invest
a company,
to
I
support
hope in
human
the
beings.
future we
Not
gain our
supporting
profit
Alibaba.
because of our
This
technology.
lab is open to the whole world.
Not because of our
It's
size.
not supporting Alibaba at all.
So we have to invest in technology.
But I don't like this kind of, there's a debate. Artificial intelligence, big data,
So hi, I'm Saad,
going
Global
to
Shipper
threat
from the
the
Islamabad
human
Hub.
beings.
I really want to know
I
what
think
you think about leadership.
artificial
Is it
intelligence
something that comes from
should
the heart
support human
when it comes
beings.
to decision making as a leader, or is
The
it something
technology
that
should always
that you have to
doing
take?
something to
You have to
enable
think through your
people.
mind as well, or is it a bit of both? Like as a
It's
leader,
not
when you
to
make
disable
decisions,
people.
would you go with something that you really feel about from your heart,
When steam
or
machine
would
comes,
you try to have a mix of your
when
mind and your
car
heart when you
comes,
make decisions?
people hate it.
Yeah, I think you
Today we think
it's a good
car is
question.
good.
I've been
When
thinking about that.
the
First,
automobile when first was designed,
it's,
people hate, especially this car,
it's your
this
nature.
horseman.
There must be have
Right, they
something
destroy
that you
every car they can
different.
see.
Second is you need
So
a
I
training.
would say
You
people
should
like
be
us,
trained when we have the
through
money,
all the tough
we have the
experience,
resources, we have the
the
young, old,
stupidity.
excellent young people.
I found out some
we
great
should
leaders in the world.
spend
They're
money
always
on
positive.
the knowledge.
They never
enable
complain
people.
others, and never complain.
Empower people. Make
And
life
they
better.
look at the things in a
So
different view,
This is what we want
like
to
normal
invest.
people.
And I think
So,
artificial intelligence,
I think
no matter
people
how artificial
they
intelligence is
might
good, human being
company
in the future compete
they-
with machine on knowledge.
at the beginning they
you
don't
have
like
chance.
me because I'll always think about
Computer
10 years,
is
5
always
years.
going to be smarter than you are.
And then
When there's a
after
car,
we're working together for 3
forget
or
about
5
it,
years,
move
they
on
find out,
faster.
you're right.
when there's a
Then
plane,
we got the
don't
credit
think you can fly.
rating.
And as a
When there's
CEO, one of the
computer,
jobs
you know,
when everybody's
computer
happy, you have to
is
see the
always
unhappy
smarter
things.
than you are.
When
They
everybody's
never
unhappy, you have to
forget.
see the happy
They
things.
remember everything.
They never get angry.
So
they calculate
leadership
faster.
is nature.
But
you have
computer
to have
can never
trained
be as wise
learn.
as a man. What's the
And
difference
I got
between
my
smart
leadership
and
was
wisdom?
upgraded in Davos.
My
I see
view
so
is
many.
a smart
You know,
people
Ali Enter Financing,
see
how many
something
people
the
here
other
know about
people don't
Alipay?
see. Wise people
Alipay's decision was
see
made
something
here.
he pretend he did not
I was
see.
thinking about Alipay. You know, but
smart
I was
people
not
know
there
what
to
he
launch
want.
Alipay because in China,
wise people
if you
know
do
what he
financing
doesn't
without
want.
license, you will be in jail at that
A
time.
wisdom.
So I
person
I
with
went to the
wisdom
banks. Can you
knows,
help us do
I
the
don't-
e-commerce on
only
transaction?
you
No,
know
no, no,
I
no,
don't
no.
want this.
No banks would accept it.
Then
so
you
if there will
know
be no
what do you
Alipay,
want.
no financing, the e-commerce
So
will go
I
nowhere.
think
So I
this
was
is the money
year
we invest
2004.
to
I was
support human
here.
beings, not supporting
Listen to
Alibaba.
a,
this lab is open
speech
to the whole world.
by two
It's not
state leaders
supporting
about
Alibaba
leadership.
at all. Yeah.
And this guy's leadership is
Wonderful.
about responsibility. You believe it, but the people don't believe it.
So hi,
But if
I'm
you
Saad,
think it's
Global
so
Shaper
critical,
from the Islamabad Hub.
you should
I
pay
really
any
want
price
to
to do
know what you think about
So that day
leadership.
changed my
Is it
mind, and I
something that
call
comes
back to
from the
my,
heart
team,
when it
say,
comes to decision making
let's
as a leader, or is
launch
it
it
something that
within 1 month.
that you have to take?
If
you
somebody
have
has
to
to go
think
to
through
the
your mind
jail,
as well, or is it a bit
I
of
go to the
both?
jail.
Like as a leader, when
Who
you
will be
make
the
decisions,
second one? Follow me.
would you
If
go
I
with
go,
something that
you
you really
continue,
feel
and
about
you go
from
to
your
the jail,
heart,
you go
or
continue.
would you
That was
try
the
to have a mix
leadership,
of your mind and your
determination.
heart when you make decisions?
And year 2004,
Yeah,
I made
I
a
think
decision
you,
here, and I called it back.
It's a good question. I've
And
been
now today
thinking
the
about
Alipay
that. First,
launched, and
it's
so big, over
it's
800
nature
million people
instinct.
today using
There
Alipay.
must be have
globally.
something that you
This is called
different.
yeah.
Wonderful.
Second
Shall we
is
take
you
one
need
from
training.
YGL to be
You should
fair?
be
Any questions?
trained
Yeah,
through
please.
all the tough experience, but still positive.
Hello, my name
I
is
found
Pablo
out
from
some
Costa
great
Rica,
leaders in the
YGL.
world.
And
They are always positive.
given your perspective of
They never
caring and being a
complain
trustee of
others
all this,
and never complain.
what do you do for self-care
And, they-
also
they
maybe
look
within
at
your
the
company?
things in a
Because earlier
different
on,
view.
often you can cut through
Like normal
sleep or other
people.
things in a silly way,
So
and you realize that if you plan for
I
the long
think
term, one also has to
people
take personal care,
in my
either mindfulness
company,
or prioritizing better. And how are you
They-
doing this, and how do you promote that in your
at the
company?
beginning they don't like me because I'll always think about
Well,
10 years, 5 years.
I'm lucky that I have 18
And then
co-founders.
after we're working together for 3 or 5
And most of
years,
them my
they find,
students.
you are right.
When we in my
Then we got
apartment,
the
I
credit
told them my dream,
rating.
my vision,
And as a
we'll
CEO,
videotape.
one
Funny
of the
thing
jobs
is
where
that
everybody's happy,
when
you have to see
Alibaba
the
launched
unhappy
for the
things.
first day,
When
I
everybody's
said, let's
unhappy, you have to
videotape
see the happy things.
everything. Every important meetings
So
that we join
leadership
together.
is
I-
nature.
The
but you
purpose
have to
is
have
that
trained
someday, if
and
we
learn.
fail, we give the videos to the people
And
to
I
research
got my
why we
leadership
failed. If we succeed,
upgraded
give the videos to the
levels.
other people. So we have like almost a
I
whole
see so
house
many
of
videotapes.
you know, Ali Enter Financing.
So
how
the
many
first
people here
videotape
know
I say,
about
I speak
Alipay?
for
2 hours, and those guys look at me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alipay's
So that's what you want to
decision
do?
was made here.
I said, yeah,
I was
this is what
thinking
I
about
wanna do.
Alipay. You know,
But
I was not
we,
there to
I
launch
was
Alipay
the first,
because in
I
China,
know nothing about
if you do
technology. I know
financing
nothing about
without
management.
license,
I know nothing
you will
about
be in
But
jail
the only
at that
thing
time.
is that you don't have to know
So
a
I
lot
say-
of things.
I
You
went
have
to the
find
banks,
people
can
who
help
are
us
smarter
do the
than you are.
e-commerce on transaction? No,
My
no, no,
first
no, no.
way is
No
always
banks
find
would
people who
accept it.
knowledge
So
on
if there
computer
will be no
smart
Alipay,
than
no
I am.
financing,
The
accounting
e-commerce
is
go
smarter.
nowhere.
So
For
I
so many
was
years,
year
I always tried to find the people
2004, I was
smarter than
here.
I am. Listen to
And when you find so many smart people,
my
speech
job is to
by
make sure the
state
smart people
leaders
can work it together.
about leadership.
And this guy's leadership.
And then if smart
is
people
about
can work it together,
responsibility. It's easier.
You
The vision,
believe
you
it.
believe. Because
But
if
don't
the people don't
stupid
believe
people
it, can work it together
But if you
easily.
think it's so
smart
critical-
people can never work together. You should pay any price to do it.
But stupid people work
So
together
that day
easily, they
changed
don't
my
believe the
mind,
vision.
And I call back to my
The people who
team
believe the
saying,
vision, but they don't work together.
let's launch
So
it
very important is finding
within
smart
1 month.
people If somebody, and my job is to jail, making
I
sure
go to the
we
gym.
work together.
Who
So
will be the
culture
second
is
one
important.
follow me? If I go,
Long
you
term,
continue.
you should
and
be
you go to the
ideal
gym,
with
you
great,
continue.
strong vision leader,
That
but
was
you should
called
also have to
leadership,
survive today.
determination.
If you don't
And
survive
year
today,
2004,
you got
I made a decision here. I called back.
So
and now today,
the best way to promote your company is not
large
you.
and
It's not me as the CEO. The
It's
best way
so
is your
big,
product, your
over,
services, your
800
employees.
million
The
people
best,
today using
best
Alipay
product of your
globally.
company is your
This is
employee.
called. Yeah.
So I spent a
Wonderful.
lot
Shall
of
we
time.
take one from
early days.
YTL to
For the
be-
first
to be fair?
2,000
Any
employees of
questions?
Alibaba, I
Yeah,
speak
please.
everybody for 1 or 2 hours. When they
Hello, my
join
name
in.
is Pablo from Costa
I
Rica,
said,
YGL.
I will never
And
promise you will be rich.
given
I
your
never promise
perspective
you will
of
be promoted.
caring and being a
But I
trustee of all
promise
this,
You'll suffer.
what do you do for self-care
promise you will have
and
a
also maybe
terrible
within your
life.
company? Because
Right.
earlier on,
All the
often you
terrible
can cut
things I
through
promise
sleep or
will
other
join
things
this
in a
company.
silly way,
Right? But
and you
good
realize that if
things,
you plan for
you
the long
promise
term,
good things,
one also
you are
has
misleading
to
them.
take personal
Because
care,
I cannot
be
promise
there,
myself.
mindfulness,
We know this
or
is the future, but
prioritizing
we're
better. And
not,
how are
we
you doing
not
this, and how do you
sure
promote that in your company?
that we will be there. But if we
Well,
don't work together, we all will
I'm
lose our
lucky
job.
that I have
That's the
18
thing.
co-founders.
And they do always say, and I think I've experienced this myself,
most of
if you
them are
knew how
students.
hard it would be, would you
When
do
we-
it?
in my
And it seems for
apartment,
you,
I
a key
told
part
them
of
my
leadership
dream
is
and
leaving
my
the
vision,
ego at
and
the
we'll
door
videotape.
and being willing
Funny
to
thing
hire
is that
people better than you who you can then
when
kind of
Alibaba
empower
launched
to
the
carry out
first
your
day, I
vision.
said, let's videotape
Wonderful. Yeah.
everything. Every important meetings that we join together.
Hi, I'm Iman
the
from
purpose is
Global
that
Shipper Jakarta Hub.
someday
How does
we
your experience of
give
being a
the
teacher
videos to
influence
the people
how
who
you run the
research
business
why
today?
we fail.
And do you have any
If we
message for those who are
succeed,
working in
give the
education
videos to the other
space?
people.
Thank
So
you.
we have like almost how
How does your experience of being a teacher in early days
So
influence
the
how
first
you run the
videotape,
business
I
today?
say- I speak for 2 hours and those guys look at me. Okay. Let me tell you one thing. That's what you want to do? I never thought I could be a
said, yes, this is
CEO.
what I wanna do.
never thought later I become a good CEO. One of the thing I learned
was
from
the
teachers.
first-
As a teacher,
I know
very
nothing
important
about
the character
technology.
of a teacher
I know
is
nothing
the
about
teacher
management.
always
I know nothing
expect
about-
his
but
students
the only
better.
thing is that you don't have to
I
know
want
a
this
lot of
student to
things. You
become a
have to find
banker,
the
that's to
people who are
become a
smart
mayor,
than you
that
are.
is a scientist.
My
This is all
first way
teachers
is
want.
always find people who knowledge
If you don't have
of
this
computer
smart kind
than
of
I am.
thinking,
Accounting,
it's a
smart. For so
it's
many
a terrible
years,
teacher.
I
A good
always
teacher
try to
always
find
want the
people
other people better.
smart than I
You don't want this teacher in jail, that teacher is a bankrupt,
And
that
when you
teacher
find so many
is,
smart people,
you know?
my job
So as a
is to
CEO,
make
I
sure
trained
the
myself.
smart people
I
can work it
always
together.
want those people join the company, do better. Than
And
they
then
thought.
if smart people can
And
work
everything
together,
the company should do
it's
is
easier.
making sure
The
the good
vision
environment
you
to
believe.
training him
Because
to be
if
more positive.
stupid people
And
can work
everything
it
we do.
together
This
easily.
is a teacher.
Smart
A
people
teacher
can
does
never
not mean
work
I
together.
know better than you are. Everything I know
But
better than you are
stupid
because
people
I
work
learn
it
from
together
others.
easily. They
So
don't
a teacher
believe the
should learn
vision.
all the time.
The people who
A teacher
believe
should
the vision,
share
but
all
they
the
don't
time.
work together.
A teacher should always
So
expect
very
the other
important
people
is
better than
finding
you are.
smart people.
And by the way, education.
And my job is two things.
It's a good
Making
big
sure
challenge now.
they work together. So the
If we
culture
do
is
not
important.
change the way we teach,
Long term is
30
you
years
should be
later we'll be in
ideal
trouble.
with
Because
great
the way we
strong
teach,
vision leader, but
the
you should
thing we
also have to
teach our
survive
kids
today.
are
If
the
you
things
don't
of the
survive
past 200
today,
years, it's
you got-
knowledge based.
So
And we cannot teach our kids
the
to
best way
compete
to
with
promote
machine
your company
who
is not
smarter.
you. It's not me as
We
the
have
CEO.
to
The
teach
best is
something
your
unique.
product, your services.
That
your
is, machine can
employees.
never catch
The
up with us.
best
In this way,
best product
30
of your
years
company
later,
is
our
your
kids
employee.
have the chance.
So I spent a lot of
I hope I
time,
answer your question.
early days.
It's a very
For the
difficult
first
one to answer, but
2,000
what are
employees of
those
Alibaba,
skills that you
I
think
speak
we need to teach? If
everybody
it's we're moving
for
away
1 or 2
from
hours.
knowledge, what are the key things?
When they join.
Value. I said, I will never promise
Believing.
you will be rich. I never promise
Independent
you will be
thinking.
promoted.
But I
Teamwork.
promise you suffer.
Care for others.
These are
promise
the
you
soft
will have
part.
a terrible life.
The knowledge may not teach you that.
Right? And
Well,
all
that's
all
why
the terrible things
I think we should
promise
teach
will
our
join
kids
this company.
on sports,
Right? But good things. If
entertain,
you promise
the
good
music.
things,
You are misleading them.
because painting,
I cannot promise myself.
Art.
Art. So making sure we humans
we
should
know
be
this is
different
the
from
future, but we
everything we
not-
teach
we are
should be
not
different
sure
from machine.
that we
If
will
the
be
machine can do do better, you have to think about.
But if we don't work together, we all will lose our job. So that's the thing.
And they do always say, and I think I've experienced this myself, if you knew how hard
Hi,
it would
this
be,
is Hashim
would you-
Al-Musawi
would you
from
do it?
Manama,
And it
Bahrain.
seems for you,
Talking
a key
about
part
education
of
and the fourth
leadership is
industrial
leaving
revolution,
the
we have
ego
been
at the door
talking about
and
people
being willing
losing their
to
jobs
hire
or
people
they are
better
not
than you
qualified
who
enough
can
with the
then
skills
kind of
needed. What
empower
are
and
you
carry
doing for
out
the people
your-
within your
your vision?
company to get up to date, to
Wonderful.
get continuous
Yeah.
learning, to know what's the technologies needed for the future? Thank you.
Okay, luckily I don't
Hi,
have
I'm
to
Iman
do a lot
from
of these
Global
kind of
Superstar
things
Hub.
in my company.
How does your
because
experience of being a teacher
we are
influence how
fighting
you run
every
the
day
business
for
today?
the future.
And do you have any message
We know
for those
if
who are
we do
working in
not
education
work hard,
space?
Facebook,
Thank you.
Google, and Amazon, all these
How
guys
how
do
does
better.
your experience of
Right,
being
so
a
this
teacher
is
in
why
early days
we are
influence how
globalized.
you run the business
It's
today?
a competition,
Yeah.
globalized. But we know that it's not about technology.
Let me tell you one
competition. All the people today,
I never
not like
thought
18 founders,
I
we
could
only
be a
have 2.5
CEO.
people
I never
engineers.
thought
Today
later
we
I'd
have more than
become a good
25,000 engineers. They are all smart
One
people.
of
They
the
do
thing
much
I
better
learned
job
from
than the
teachers.
18 years ago.
As a teacher,
But
very
the only
important
thing I
the
want
character of a
making sure
teacher
that
is
these people
the
have a
teacher
philanthropy heart.
always expect his students
Because the
better.
data we have, the technology
I
we
want
have,
this student to
if
become
they
a
do not
banker,
have a
that's
great
become
heart
a
inside,
mayor, they're going to
we are going to make
scientist.
disaster
This
for
is
the world.
all teachers want.
Google,
If you
Facebook,
don't have this
Amazon, kind of
Alibaba,
thinking. These companies, we are the luckiest company of this century.
Is a terrible teacher.
And we have
A
to
good
lucky, if
teacher
we're
always
lucky, we
wants
have the
the other people
responsibility.
better. You don't
that we
want
should
this
have a
teacher
good
in
heart
jail. That teacher's a
to
bankrupt.
do something
That
good.
teacher is, you know.
But on the other thing,
Done.
I want to say
so
is
as a
about
CEO, I trained myself.
making
is
sure
I always want
that
those
everything
people
you
join
do
the
is for the
company
future. For example, you know about
do
Singles
better
Day?
than they thought.
Singles Day
And
Shopping
everything the
Day,
company should
November
do is
11th
making
is
sure
the day
good
we
environment
created.
to training him
Last year,
to be
that
more
day, we
positive.
sold 25
And everything
billion
we do.
US dollars
This is a teacher.
for one day.
And teacher does not mean I know
And
better
for the
than
first
you are.
minute,
Everything I know better than you are
over
because I learn
70
from
to
others.
80 million
So a
people
teacher should
rush
learn all the
inside
time.
to shop on the mobile phone.
A teacher should
So
share
you
all
have
the
to
time.
making sure
A
the
teacher should
system
always
is
expect
good
the
enough.
other people better than you are.
We have to finish.
And by the way,
we have to finish
education. It's a big
270,000
challenge now.
transactions per second.
If we do not change the way we teach,
Can you imagine that?
30 years later, Because the
270,000
way we
transactions
teach,
per second.
the
If we
thing we
do not have
teach
that
our
kind of
kids
computing
are the things
capability,
past
the
200
whole
years
system will
knowledge
crash
base.
because we have several
And
hundred million people
we cannot
waiting
teach
to
our
pay the
kids
money.
to compete with
So
machines
this
who
technology,
is smarter.
we know why we do
We
this for
have to teach
crazy for
something
one day.
unique.
Because we want
That is
to test the
machine can never
technology.
catch up with us. In
This
this way,
technology should be
30 years
inclusive.
later, our kids
Because we know today
have the
in
chance.
China we create probably like
I hope I
100
answered
million
your question.
package delivery. We believe
It's
a
a
day.
very difficult one to answer, but what are
5
those
years later,
skills
the
that
whole
you
world
think we
would
need
deliver
to, we
1
need to
billion
teach? If
packages
we're
per
moving
day.
away from
Think about
knowledge,
what's
what
the
are the
technology.
key things? in terms-
Value. Are we ready for that? So the Singles Day is
Believing.
testing this technology and to be
Independent
inclusive.
thinking,
So
teamwork,
making sure the market drives them,
Care for
not
others.
the boss drives them.
these are the soft part. The knowledge may not teach you that.
Folks, that's why I think we should teach our
Thank
kids.
you, David. Thank you, Jack.
on
Jesus
sports,
Cepeda from Mexico, from the Monterrey Hub Global
entertain-
Chamber.
the
We have been
music,
talking a lot about our generation, and I really like the conversation about 3 years before,
painting,
3 years after. Actually,
art.
I have been
But
hearing
making
these days
sure
that we haven't
humans
had
should be
this
different
snow in
from
30 years. here.
everything we
So the
teach
question is going
should be
to a quote
different
of Professor
from
Schwab. He said a
machine.
couple of months ago to
If
the
the
Global
machine can
Chambers
do better,
that we're the first
we have to think
generation
about
that is going to suffer about climate change, and we are the last one that can do something about it. So with your teaching passion, what are the 3 things that you are saying to educate the 10 million employees or the
Hi,
100 million
this is
employees,
Hashim Al-Musawi
or everyone who's
from
looking at this
Manama,
video,
Bahrain.
to develop
Talking
an
about
environmental
education
mindset,
and the fourth
a
industrial
spiritual
revolution,
mindset,
we have
a
been
non-fragmented
talking about
mindset.
people losing their
Okay.
jobs or they are not qualified enough with the skills needed. What are
First,
you
let
doing
me say
for
this.
the people within
Every
your company
disasters,
to get up
the
to date, to
environment
get continuous
disasters,
learning,
as
to
a
know what's the
reflect
technologies
of
needed
human
for the
heart today.
future? Thank you.
Okay, luckily I don't
Because
have to do a
when
lot
we
of these kind of
need
things
too much,
in my company. We destroy a lot of
because
things. I think the human being
we are
today,
fighting every
we
day for the future.
the past
we know
200
if we
years,
do not work hard,
because of knowledge-based
Facebook,
technology,
Google, and Amazon,
or
all these
knowledge-based training system,
right? So this is
all
why
we want to
are
do
globalized.
is get more.
It's a competition.
We want
globalized.
more things.
But we know
We
that's
go to
not
the moon, we go
it's
to Mars,
not
we go
about
this, we always
technology
outside looking.
competition. All the
We
people
human
today,
beings never
not like
inside
18
looking.
founders, we only have 2.5
If you don't
people
have the
engineers.
inside looking,
today we have more than 25,000
you will never be
engineers.
wise.
They are all smart people.
If you're not wise,
They do much
you never
better
know
job
what
than
the
the
you
18
don't
years
want.
ago. But
Today,
the only
human
thing I
beings
want
get
is
much
making
more
sure
than
that
they
these
expect they
people
should
have a
have.
philanthropy
So the
heart.
environmental pollutions,
Because the data
the
we
whole
have,
thing
the
happening
technology we
is
have,
because human
if
beings
they do not
become
have
greedy.
a great heart inside,
Become arrogant.
we are going to make disaster for the world.
So this is why the big data,
Google,
the data
Facebook,
technology
Amazon,
is trying to understand
Alibaba,
the inside
these
of human.
companies,
What is the data?
we
is the
are the
human
luckiest
behavior.
company of
A lot
this
of people-
century. And we have to luck. if
Trust
we're
me,
lucky,
the
we have
machine will know you
responsibility
better than you
that
know
we should
yourself.
have a good heart.
Have
to
you
do
seen some
something
movies?
good. Some gamblers.
But on the other thing, I want to
they're
say
great.
is
They look
about
at the eyes. If he got a
that
good
making
card,
sure
his eyeball will shut.
that
But
everything
normal
you
people
do
don't see
is
it.
for the
future.
machine
For
see
example,
all the
You know
details.
about single state?
Machine know you better.
Single state.
So what I would say
shopping
is that
day.
in the
November
data
11 is
period,
the day we
human being next
created.
to 100 years,
Last year,
people,
that day,
human
we
will
sold
know, try to understand
25
inward
billion
looking.
US dollars for
We
one
will see
day.
a lot of ugly things
And
of
for the
ourselves.
first
When
minute,
knowledge-based outward looking,
over
you see the
70
ugly
to
things of the
80
others
million people
and good
rush
things. When you look inside
to
looking.
shop on
This
the
is
mobile
Chinese
phone.
philosophy.
So you have
Chinese
to making
people,
sure the
our
system
believing is always
good enough.
inside working. We're supposed to have inside
finish.
check
We have to
every
finish
three times a day.
270,000 transactions.
Not really.
per
If you can
second.
really do that, you can do that. Then you'll
Can
be
you
good.
imagine
so
that?
for environment, you're right. If we do not make
270,000
action,
transactions
take
per
action.
second. If we do not have that kind of
all the money you make
computing
will spend in
capability,
the hospital.
the whole system
Medicine.
will crash because we
Our
have
kids will be in big
several
trouble.
100 million people
So let's fix
waiting
it.
to pay the money.
And fix
So
fix
this
our heart,
technology,
fix our
we
know-how,
know why we do this for crazy for one day.
and fix our belief.
Because we
when you have a
want to test
belief,
the
when you have a
technology.
religion, when you have a
This
value,
technology should be
it's better.
inclusive. Because
So
we
I
know
think this is what
today,
I concerned me. This
in
is what I
China,
think the young people
we
should
create
always
probably
have
like 100
the
million
value.
package delivered.
mission.
We believe a day.
If you have something you believe, in your
5
heart,
years later,
that
the
will be
whole
different.
world
This is what
will
next to
deliver
30 years
1 billion
education will
packages
focus
per
on.
day.
We have
Think
time
about
for one
what's the
last brief
technology.
question. Karuna?
Are we ready for that? So the singular's day is to testing this technology.
Thank you. This is Karuna
And-
from the Portals
and
Hub,
to be
Mauritius.
inclusive.
And my question is, you talked
making
about
sure the
your
market
workplace
drives them,
culture.
not
I'd
the
like to
boss
have
drives
one or
them.
two examples, if possible, of how do you motivate your employees. And I'd like to throw in a last question is, how much do you sleep? Because this is such a controversial topic and I keep hearing
Jesus
different
Cepeda
versions.
from Mexico, from
Thank
the
you.
Monterrey Hub, Global Shaper.
What do you mean keep
We have been
different
talking
versions?
about our generation, and I really like the conversation about 3 years before, 3 years
hours.
after.
Sorry, I've heard
Actually,
CEOs sleep
I have
only
been
3
hearing
to
these
4
days that
hours, and
we
whereas
haven't
I've
had
heard, like,
this
you know, you need
snow
at
in
least
30
8
years.
hours.
So the question
So
is
yeah,
going
I'm
to
a bit
quote,
divided and
Professor
would love to
Schwab
know your
said
secret.
a couple
Thank
of
you.
months ago to the Global Shapers
How do I
that we're the
motivate,
first generation that is going to suffer about climate
incentive
change.
or
And we are the
motivate
last
my,
one that can do
colleagues?
something about it.
You have to
So,
find the
with
people
your teaching,
that can
teaching
mobilize
passion,
themselves.
what are the 3 things that you are
impossible
saying
to
to
find-
educate the
to
30 million
encourage an
employees
active person.
or the 100 million employees
So the
or
people
everyone
you
who's
hire,
looking at this
the
video
people work
to
together.
develop an environmental mindset,
They have
a
to be.
spiritual mindset,
Or
a
you cannot, we have
non-fragmented world mindset.
65,000 employees
Okay.
now. You cannot hire all of them that positive. But at least the people
First, let me
work
say
with
this.
me.
Every disasters,
My
the environment
management,
disasters,
leadership,
as a reflect of
that
human
heart
heart today.
They have to be positive. They have to know
Because
to incentive the
when
others.
we
Because I
need
cannot
it too
incentive
much,
everybody. And making
we
sure
destroy a
the
lot of
culture.
things.
I think
the
so.
human being today, we
I think
the past
it would be
200
very
years,
painful for me to talk to
because
my
of
vice president,
knowledge-based
and he need to be incentivized and
knowledge-based
mobilized
training
every time.
system. All
Right?
we
This
want
won't
to
work.
do
If
is
he is
get
not,
more.
if he does not know how
We
to
want more
incentivize
things.
or
We go
mobilize
to the moon,
his
we
people,
go to Mars,
it's better.
we go this.
I
we
don't think he will be the
always
vice
outside
president.
looking. We human
He should
beings
be a good
never
engineer.
inside looking.
Good designer, but not good leader.
If you don't
A
have
good
the
leader
inside
should
looking,
know You will
help,
never
but
be
not by
wise.
only money. If you're not wise,
Most
you
of
never
people
know what do you don't
incentivize
or mobilize. Not
Today,
because you give them a
human
lot of
beings
money.
get much more
You
than they
give the
expect
respect
they should have. So the
Trust.
environmental pollution,
Appreciation.
the whole thing happening,
And
is because
correct
human beings
heartful
become greedy,
advice.
become arrogant.
When
So
it
this
comes
is
to
why
my meetings,
the big data,
internal meetings, you will
the
be
data
shocked
technology,
we are
is
not
trying
like a
to
lot of the other
understand
Chinese
the
companies. The boss
inside
say,
of human.
everybody listen,
What
take
is
notes,
data?
and
Data is the
go
human
now.
behavior.
We are like a
A lot of
war
people
room. We make
trust
decisions
me,
based
the
on
machine
whose
will know you
voice
better
is
than
louder.
you know yourself.
Right. Early days.
Have you
we
seen some
fight and
movies?
talk and then
Some
making sure
gamblers.
everybody speak up. You know, they're great. They look at the eyes. So this is also a way
got a
of
good card,
mobilize and
this
incentive.
eyeball will
There are a
shake.
lot of ways.
But normal people
and
don't
different
see it.
people have
The
a
machine
different
see
way
all the details.
to
Machine
send
know you better.
incentive. So this.
So
how much
what
time
I
I
would
sleep?
say is that in the data period,
I have a
human
problem.
being next to
I
100
don't.
years, human will
I
not
sleep
try to understand.
not very
inward
short,
looking.
but not good.
We will see a lot
And
of
I don't
uglies,
eat
of
a lot.
ugly things of ourselves. We're
This is something that I was,
outward looking.
Curious.
You see the ugly things of the others and good
I
things.
don't eat a lot. I'm
When
very
look inside
picky on the
looking.
food.
This is Chinese philosophy.
And
Chinese people,
I don't know.
believe
Sometimes I would love to
it's
see
always
what the
inside
things that
working.
make me.
We're supposed to
work
have
like
inside
that.
checking every
But for sure,
three
that
times
if
a day.
I suddenly give me
But
1
not-
month's vacation,
Not really. If you
I'll
can
collapse.
really do that, you can do that. Then you'll
I
be
think
good. So
there'll
for
be something
environment,
in
you're
my
right.
heart. Maybe
If
the
we
mission.
do not make action,
At the beginning, it's a mission
Take
of 18
action.
people. Today we have 65,000
all the
people.
money you
They
make
all
will
believe the
spend
mission.
in the hospital.
So if I give up, I
Medicine.
can give up my position. but
Our
I should not
kids will
give
be
up
in
the
big
mission.
trouble.
If I give up, everybody says,
So
hey,
let's fix it.
No. So, and then
Fix-
especially today,
first
Alibaba
fix our
at
heart,
this size,
fix
people
our
continue
know-how,
to say, for this size,
and
the
fix
growth rate
our
will
belief.
be
When you
tiny
have a belief,
or
when you have
down.
a religion,
So what's the 10,
when you
20
have a
years
value,
Alibaba will look like?
better. If you
So
want
I
to be,
think
this is what I concern
still
me.
be
This is
greater,
what I think the young people
triple
should
our
always
size,
have the
what's-
value.
what the direction,
mission.
how to do it. So I spend a lot
If you
of
have
time
something
thinking,
you believe in your heart,
a lot
that
of
would
time
be different.
thinking.
This is what
And
next to 30
I
years
love to think.
education
Good thing
focus
is
on.
I have a good team now.
We have time
I
for
think
one last
I do the
brief
talk, they
question.
do the work.
Karuna.
Yes.
On that note,